No, hello and welcome to Sports Nerds on the Three Geeks Network. My name is Max Andrews. I'm joined with Mike Carfagna and Philip Ford. Mike, the Florida Mike, I don't even know his last name, couldn't be here today, but we have one more guy in, and we're just doing a little sports cast. We're going to talk over some news and some talking points. I am, if you couldn't tell, a Ohio State Buckeyes fan and also a Batman fan, hence the Sports Nerds. Mike, obviously,
I'm just a sports nerd
in his Cleveland gear, so I think you know where his heart lies. Philip,
Tampa Bay Buccaneers, so more Florida ties, so we might get to some arguments with college football season there, Max.
Oh yeah.
Looking forward to it.
I mean, we could talk about how Ohio State won the very first national championship in the playoff system. And we beat the Florida team, or technically we beat the Florida teams. We're better than them.
Yeah. Florida coach.
Yeah. I mean, we stole your coach, and we're not giving him back.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't think he's leaving.
But, yeah, we're going to roll right into it. We'll go ahead and get started. And the NBA, we'll go ahead and do finals predictions.
Yeah. This is one of the unique seasons in the NBA where anybody can really win it. And, a lot of teams are very evenly matched, especially in the West. I mean, obviously, for God knows how long now, the West has been the premier division, the premier conference of the NBA. But this year, though, it seems like there's a lot of equal teams out there. Even though I am biased, I do think the Cavs will win the title this year because I do think they are the most complete team, not that they signed Kendrick Perkins. But as far as finals predictions, I think it's going to be what we'll see tonight, and that is the Cavs take on the Golden State Warriors, especially now that with Derrick Rose tearing his knee again.
Okay, I'm sorry, I don't want to interrupt, but is Derrick Rose not the worst? I don't think he's played a full season in like 5 years.
Well, he has, but he's just like, he just keeps getting hurt. He's like,
yeah, everyone's like at the beginning of the season, all the Bulls fans are like, D Rose is back. Oh, it's gonna be awesome. Blah blah blah.
Got Pau Gasol.
Yeah. And then he gets hurt like 3 weeks into it.
Yeah,
he's out for most of the season.
Yeah, and it's like and it speaks a lot, because he did play with he played in the World Cup of Basketball this past summer, and Kyrie Irving won the MVP. No big deal. He just hasn't been the same D Rose, and you're just going up and down on that hardwood floor, man, and that just messes with your knees big time. I'm afraid he might turn out to be like Penny Hardaway, where he's just like came on the scene, made some noise, did a couple commercial, no Chris Rock though, doing the "Hey Penny,"
There's a throwback for you.
Yeah, I know, right? Who remembers the Penny Hardaway commercial with Chris Rock, Little Penny? Yeah. Well, not so much for D Rose because he's on the bench now. So. But yeah, I do like the Cavs Warriors in the finals, and as far as MVP goes, I think it's a three-way race between Westbrook and Steph Curry and James Harden. I mean, those guys they've just been unstoppable. As much as I love LeBron and the Cavs, I really think it's between those three guys. But yeah.
Phil, do you follow the NBA? Are you?
Yeah, I do. Not as hardcore as I used to. I used to watch it a lot more. But I definitely agree. I think in the East, even as good as Atlanta is as a team, I don't think if they came against the Cavs, they could win.
In a game series, yeah.
Yeah, in a full series. So I think by default, just especially because there's no one else with enough talent anywhere top to bottom in the East that could actually match up with the Cavs overall. And I think overall, with LeBron, I think that's the deciding factor for the East Conference. The Western Conference, that's where I don't know a lot. Like, I know Golden State's really good, but I just don't know if that works in the playoffs right now. I haven't seen them play enough defense, and from that perspective, I would probably have to lean towards Memphis, but it could be Golden State. Because I've seen Memphis do – it depends on the team that Memphis can – their matchups they get in the playoffs, really. because they play an inside-out game that works really well. But the problem is, if Golden State could come up against them, they might have that chance. I don't know if home field or home court really makes that much of a difference. So we'll have to see. That would be my initial thought. Would be Memphis and Cleveland. Which would be actually a really interesting finals if that actually happened.
It would be, yeah, especially, yeah, as you talk about, Memphis playing that inside-out game, be great to see Gasol and Zebo go against Mozgov and those guys, so that'd be cool.
Absolutely. As far as MVP, I'm probably going to have to go Westbrook or Harden. I think Steph Curry could, but I don't know if he gets enough credit, I guess would be my debate. And I think Westbrook, if they actually end up like moving up above the 8th seed and get somewhere towards like 3 or 4, I think he'll get a lot of credit and he'll get the vote. Otherwise, maybe Steph Curry will pull it out. We'll see. I don't think LeBron's had a big enough of a year for people to get the notice. And I think sometimes LeBron is just so superhuman that people expect him to do ridiculous things to get the MVP vote. So,
absolutely.
I actually don't really follow NBA that much during the regular season because I find that it doesn't actually matter that much. So once they get into playoffs, it's like, okay, well, these teams are in, these guys can win, these guys can't. But I mean, I honestly I can't make myself care to watch the regular season. There's so much basketball.
So long story short,
Ohio State NBA championships.
We'll get Max's expert NBA analysis come late April, early May playoff time.
Yep. But no, I follow LeBron. I like LeBron. He was in Cleveland first, and then I followed him when he went down to Miami. I know you don't like to talk about that.
No, we don't like to talk about that.
But no, I like to see him play. I think he's a really good guy. So I mean, I want the Cavs to win. I want them to do well. As far as MVP, I would say, yeah, Harding looks pretty good. I've seen him pop up on the news a whole bunch, so that must mean something, right?
He's got that beard, too.
And that beard is intense.
Like, I mean, his beard could win the MVP.
Definitely, his beard could win that. Like, LeBron does not have the beard game to go up against Harding.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, and, the point that you made, Philip, about, like with Westbrook, I really like Westbrook, too, especially, if he carries, if he gets them out of the basement there, out of the in the division. The conference there, and Westbrook and Harden, they're doing a lot right now without their other star players because Dwight Howard is out for the Rockets, and then you also got Kevin Durant, the Durantula, who's out for OKC, and so you got these two just phenomenal point guards.
Is that his actual nickname?
Yeah, the Durantula.
Okay. No.
Like I said, Max's NBA analysis will come.
Michael Jordan's not playing anymore, huh?
No, he's not.
Yeah,
well, he kind of
is.
He plays golf.
Oh yeah, that's true.
And he owns the Bobcats, or not the Bobcats, the Hornets. So yeah, Hornets. But yeah, so.
All right. That's the NBA talk right now. Let's do a little NFL discussion.
Yeah.
Adrian Peterson is getting a second shot at coming back in. They revoked they gave him an appeal. Is that
he's back. He's basically back in. Yeah, they lifted his suspension.
They lifted his suspension. I heard that they just lifted the ban that he couldn't bring an appeal to the.
Oh yeah, basically.
So I mean, he's still got some paperwork to push. But but this is the end. He's about to become a free agent, also, too, right?
He's coming down. No, he's got a couple more years, I believe, in his contract. But he is. He's the best running back ever. Not ever, but I mean, he's in the discussion. But I mean, like, he's definitely the best running back in the game right now.
Yeah, he's definitely a Hall of Fame running back. For sure.
Yeah.
So I mean, I'm kind of I don't feel like he should have gotten really kicked out for what he did. I mean, if I don't know, spanking your kid, whatever, blah blah blah, leaving scars on him. Like I don't have kids, so I don't really want to weigh in on that one. But I don't know that maybe the NFL was a little too drastic in their punishment.
Yeah. Well, I think it all had to do with like the whole Ray Rice thing because they dropped the ball with Ray Rice,
right?
And it was kind of like
he got caught.
Well, it's a domestic violence, thing as well, whether you're abusing a spouse or abusing a child. And even though I think what Ray Rice did was 10 times worse than what Adrian Peterson did, You know,
it's debatable.
it is debatable. It is debatable. It really is. It really is debatable. That's just me. You know, I think you know, Adrian Peterson though had the luxury though of getting paid while he was gone. Ray Rice just got
I thought Adrian Peterson was suspended without pay.
No, he was suspended with pay.
Oh, okay.
He was still getting paid. Yeah, he was collecting checks.
Yeah,
But,
well, I mean, that's the gig right there.
Oh,
like, I don't have to worry about getting hurt. Don't have to worry about my knees.
Yeah,
still getting that check. I'll be good.
Yeah. What do you think, Phil?
So yeah, I actually think I think they were a little too harsh on him, but I agree with you, Mike. I think it had to do everything with the Ray Rice because he served the original suspension, and then they basically cut ties with. Well, they didn't cut ties with him. What did they do? They basically put him on the player exempt list, which is what the argument is now. Well, you didn't suspend him, but wait, yes, you did, because you didn't let him play. So, and that's what I think the appeals got turned over. And it'll be interesting to see what happens because Greg Hardy is also trying to basically use this and tag along and say, well, since he only got, 2 games or 6 games, I don't know, 2 games, that's what they're saying.
Yeah, it's 2 games, yeah.
And then they just cut ties with him because of the PR, the publicity. That now, like, well, if Hardy, because he's actually going to be a free agent, and he wants to basically reinstate it before the free agency deadline, which I think is like March 10th or something like that.
Yeah,
so that way he can get signed, and Rosenhaus is his agent, by the way, which shouldn't surprise anybody.
Yeah.
And he wants to get signed so that way he can say, well, I only need to serve 2 games, and then I can play for the next 14.
That helps his stock a lot.
Oh, absolutely. And what also helps Greg Hardy too is that he was at first like I don't know if he was guilty or not, but then it was like the charges were dropped or something of that nature, and he's getting it's all this technicality stuff, which is it's kind of what sucks, it kind of what it's but it could really work out in his favor though. So.
All right.
But
you can go ahead and say that one. Yeah, he paid her, and she dropped the charges.
Yeah.
You don't have to chat text it, but that's how these things work, man. Like all you need is the right. Everyone's got a price. Everyone's got a price.
That's right.
If you want to make a moral standpoint, or if you're trying to get that mad guap.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
Good on her. And hey, and hopefully Hardy gets to play, and everyone's happy, right? But all right, moving on. Mike, you want to talk about Dez Bryant real quick?
Well, yeah. Speaking of NFL players being dumb, this Dez Bryant story just broke today. Well, apparently this story's been going on in NFL circles for a while, but it's just now being released to the public. Is that Dez Bryant apparently there was some altercation with a woman a few years ago in a Walmart parking lot. She was being dragged out of a Mercedes into a Cadillac, and both cars were registered to Dez Bryant. And then, like, a security cop came out there and was investigating, and he called the cops. Cops showed up, and they're trying to figure out what happened. Then all of a sudden, another, I think it was like a Rolls Royce or something like that, or a big time sports car showed up. And it was like Dez Bryant and like all his crew, and like I don't know, it just doesn't look good for Dez Bryant. I think this is the whole reason why that Dallas is kind of hesitant to pay him right now, which I mean they definitely should. I mean, and it kind of upsets me that like this kind of stuff goes on, but then you got like guys like Josh Gordon, Cleveland bias coming here, like who just smokes and drinks, and yet he is just ostracized from the league, but. You let this kind of stuff go on with these, the Cowboys. I'm going to go out on a limb here and say that the Cowboys get special treatment.
Well, they're America's team.
Well, yeah, they're America's team, so obviously. So so I just kind of see like the bias that kind of goes with all that crap, But good for Dallas though to kind of doing their due diligence here and kind of waiting out this whole Dez Bryant situation here. But yeah, that just came up today, so.
I mean, So yeah, dragging people through parking lots. That's cool too. I mean, maybe they'll just pay her and she'll drop the charge.
Apparently there is a video though. I mean,
yeah, see, there's video.
So we'll see. So we'll see if that video comes out. So check TMZ, I guess. But
LA once again a hotbed of NFL activity. We got they're trying to bring. They're trying to steal the Raiders, or they're trying to.
Well, the story is right now is that basically what happened is LA wants a team no matter what. It's gonna happen. And you got the owner of the St. Louis Rams who wants a brand new stadium in St. Louis. St. Louis is like, well, you've had a stadium there for like 15 years. You don't need a new stadium. And he's like, all right, well, F you. I'm gonna go to LA and build my own stadium. He bought a bunch of land, and apparently it's gonna happen. Well, when that came out, I think LA more or less wants a California team to kind of take that spot. So, basically I think what happened was that the Raiders and Chargers both got approached, say, hey, which one of you guys wants to get in LA? And I think they both were kind of interested in it. And so they kind of came with this idea of doing what the Giants and the Jets do, is share a stadium. But they would be sharing the stadium like outside of LA. And I lived in LA for 2 years. I love the weather. The traffic sucks. So like a half hour outside of LA, it's more like 2.5 hours.
It's like a reverse Ohio.
Exactly. Yeah, it's like a reverse Ohio, whatever you want to call it. So it's it'll be weird just to kind of see what happens here. But ever since the whole thing came up with the Raiders and the Chargers getting together, which will be weird because they're division rivals. They're big time rivals. As opposed to like the Jets and the Giants in different conferences, right. It's like, oh, we never play each other, so who cares?
Well, I mean, yeah, so they're both at home. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, but you're not getting that home revenue though. Like if you're losing a game, that home revenue.
That'd be pretty crazy.
So I think they really but the thing with with the St. Louis Rams is that they want to build in Inglewood, which is in the city of LA. Mm-hmm. So that'll be a lot more advantageous for people in LA in general to kind of, you're better off hopping a train, taking a bus, whatever, carpooling to go there as opposed to driving out of the city,
trying to get back in.
Yeah, you want to have a few drinks, do whatever.
I think that would be. Have they ever had a stadium like in LA proper?
Well, they played in the LA Coliseum. That's where where USC plays,
right.
And it's right smack in the middle of downtown. But I mean, once the LA Rams left, and they brought the Raiders in, and the Raiders left. Yeah. Just the thing is that they're going to have to win to be relevant,
right?
And so that's
the Raiders are out then.
Yeah, the Raiders are out. But yeah, so
I'm a Broncos fan, also on top of being an Ohio State fan. So actually, I want them both to play in the same stadium, and then I want the stadium to fall on them.
It's like me when Baltimore plays Pittsburgh.
Right,
I'm rooting for a terrorist attack.
Yeah, domestic terrorists. That's who you want to win. But no, that's terrible. Yeah. Terrorism is bad. I'm just going to throw that out there for any NSA, FBI people who might be listening. We're not.
No, we are not down unless what we discussed before that.
No, it would be good. I think it would be good if they had a new stadium in LA. Like in the city proper, and I mean,
there's a lot of transplants out there, so there's a lot of sports fans in general. It's just that nobody roots for the hometown team, and when I moved out there, I started rooting for the Dodgers because they sucked, but then like a week later they made all those crazy trades, and then they were good. So it's like, yeah, I know, right? So it's like, you want to get those guys, even if you have a crappy team, you can get, a lot of those transplants to kind of root for that underdog, so.
Yeah, as long as actually, I can't root for any team coming out of there if they're stealing from they're taking the Raiders and they're taking the Chargers. I can't root for any of those teams. They're in my division and I hate them. Yeah. But I think it would be good. I honestly think LA is way better than Oakland for revenue and stuff like that. I think that's more. I think they do a lot better there. And this St. Louis guy saw what Jerry Jones for the Cowboys.
Yeah, Jerry.
Saw what he was doing with his new stadium, and I think he's trying to get on some of that.
Well, not only that too. Yeah, we were able to host like college bowl games, big time games, stuff like that. They bring the Olympics back here. It's just another venue.
All good things. All right. Moving around.
You got any stuff on that, Phil?
Yeah. So I definitely think we'll have to see what happens. But to me, what would make more sense would be the Raiders and the Rams, or the Chargers and the Rams sharing a stadium. But I don't know if the Rams owner, because from what I know, he's pretty wealthy. I don't know if he's willing to do that at all. So we'll have to see. I think it's going to happen. It's just a question of who. My suspicion will be it'll depend on how much people are going to pay. If it were, my suspicion is why they're probably trying to work the Raiders and the Chargers. They figure, all right, more than half of the stadium will get paid for. The LA or the state of California won't have to pay so much. My thought is the Rams owner, which I don't know much about this deal, is probably going to look for more public financing, because that's what he's running into in issues in St. Louis today. And then what's also interesting is if the Chargers go, the Chargers will still be good. They're actually the only team of the three that can actually put something on the field that could go 8-8 and maybe actually win get lucky a couple games and make a playoff.
Exactly. Yeah.
Not with the Broncos, man.
I didn't say win the division. Wild card, sir.
Yeah, wild cards. Yeah.
No, they won't.
Nice.
All right. I'm gonna take this moment to thank Mike for doing most of the legwork as far as these topics are concerned. But we're gonna keep moving right along. I'm reading off his sheets.
You can skip whatever you want.
No, it's all good stuff. It's all good stuff.
Right.
So we
can skip that. Let's go to
NCAA football.
We'll go to bat. Yeah. We'll go
all right.
College football.
I don't know if you guys heard, but the Buckeyes won the very first ever national championship.
This just in
the playoff system. We got today's newspaper.
This is today's newspaper.
This is from today. This is all good stuff right here. No, OSU has a little bit of a quarterback problem, but in the good way, where we have too many good quarterbacks.
Yes.
And didn't we just pick up another high school?
Well, we got two of them. We got Torrance Gibson and we got Joe Burrow. Joe Burrow's a local guy from Ohio, from Athens, and then we got Torrance Gibson. I think he's from Texas or Florida, I forget. But yeah, both Gibson's more the dual threat guy, and Joe Burrow's more that big, tall, sit back in the pocket, kind of slink kind of guy. But they'll both get redshirted, so it doesn't matter who those guys right now. They're not relevant until next year. But Max, this is one of the rare topics you can put your insight on.
Yeah, I can speak on.
So. Mr. Ohio State Batman.
I would actually like to see Cardale Jones start.
Yeah.
I think he's the guy. I love JT Barrett and I love Braxton Miller. I don't want to fault these guys. They've done great work for us in Ohio, but I think Cardale Jones is the more of the threat. I think he's the worst for the other team. He's the best for us. He can do the most damage. I want to say He's such a big guy. He's so hard to tackle. He can move. He can throw bombs, and I just love it. I mean, of course, obviously, he won national championship, so
yeah.
I got mad respect for the guy. I'd like to see him get some starting time.
Yeah, and I have to agree with you there. I do think Cardale Jones is the most logical pick. I kind of really thought Braxton Miller was going to transfer out. It just didn't end up happening. I think it just goes to show how committed Braxton Miller is to Ohio State. And he's a big Ohio State guy. He just growing up, he talks about, how he's a big Buckeye fan. But it'll be interesting to see. I think it should be a quarterback competition really between Braxton and Cardale Jones. No disrespect at all to JT Barrett, but JT Barrett has the most time left at Ohio State. So it's like, hey, JT, take a seat, win another ring possibly. Like Cardale Jones and Braxton Miller battle it out. It'll probably be Cardale because I think Braxton Miller just started throwing again. So, it'll probably be in a few more months before he's, back on track. So I think it's going to be Cardale's job to lose. But yeah. But Phil, you're a Florida fan, aren't you? Here, is that right?
Yeah, I'm a Gator fan, which
You guys just got a new coach, right? Who's the new coach? Because they fired Muschamp, right?
Yeah, we fired Muschamp, and
Yeah, I'm a Florida fan.
So generally, the way it works as a Florida Gator fan is you pay attention until we suck really, really bad. Then you get really upset and you just ignore everything for a little while. I don't know if that works that way.
You're actually going to get along with other Mike, who's sadly not here today, but he's also a Gators fan. I call him Florida Mike because it's
that's right. We hired Jim McElwain, who was the offensive coordinator previously a few years back when we were Urban Meyer was there.
Oh, okay.
And so I think that's what we're trying to get back to, because Will Muschamp was a defensive coordinator, which we shall see what happens. I mean, we've got to get recruits back and all that, and I don't expect us to compete next year, but maybe in 2 or 3 years we can get competitive again, and we'll see.
Yeah, because that seemed to be Muschamp's strength always was. I mean, you'll see it this year because in the draft, because I forget his name. I'm sure you know it, but the linebacker who's for Florida. Muschamp was really good at recruiting defense. It was just his weakness was recruiting offense, and it'll be nice to see Florida get back in the game, and try to run that spread option again.
Not really. That won't really be very nice.
The SEC. They're just going to beat the crap out of each other. So, I mean, they'll have a good.
Yeah, no. It's always good to see.
Ohio State will be in the Big Ten and just roll everybody.
Actually, next season I think we have a cakewalk.
Oh, it'll be a cakewalk.
It's actually I was checking out the schedule. It's not. There's not a lot of real threats on there. So we
play Virginia Tech again, but I mean, this time we'll be ready. So.
I think that we're going to catch a lot of flack. Yeah. For our strength of schedule this season.
Yeah, that'll come in there, but if we run the table and blow people out, it won't be a problem.
Yeah, But, all right.
So that's.
I think with 4 spots too, it gives everyone more of a chance.
Exactly.
Oh yeah, you're right. You think they're going to open it up? You think they're going to open up the tournament for more teams?
Not next year. I mean, we'll have to see. I mean, this year it was good enough that there wasn't too much controversy for that last spot, but if we start to see a little bit more controversy, or if the NCAA goes, wait a minute, we can make a lot more money if we add 2 more teams, then we might.
Yeah, I mean, I'm figuring, the NCAA basketball tournament only started off with X teams, but now it's pretty much like if you are a community college and you play basketball,
you got 500 record. Yeah.
You can get into the NCAA playoffs.
Yeah, you get that play-in game or whatever. It's like the night before, it's like.
But so I mean. I think the NCAA already knows that tournaments generate mad amounts of money.
Yeah.
And next year it's probably going to stay in the four team system, but I definitely think in 2 years we're going to see 8 teams, more teams like that.
Yeah, I definitely agree with that too. I mean, there's just too much money to be made, and not only that, there's this Power 5 conferences right now in college football. So right now you only have 4 spots, so you potentially have that one team that's going to get left out that wins their conference championship, whatnot. And so I think there's an opportunity there. You get all 5 power conferences in, and then you got that one wild card spot for a Notre Dame, a Boise State, TCU. Yeah, give me a break.
What a bunch of jerks.
Yeah, like Baylor, or that second, that SEC team that didn't make the championship game and only has like 1 loss, that kind of deal. So I think 6 teams. I think no more than 8 though.
I think 8 would be good. Like you don't need a 16. Definitely. Yeah. I mean that. With basketball, it's easy to do those things because there's a lot less contact. That you. Not wearing down the players so
You're not
much.
Like getting into car wrecks every game.
But with football, you can't add so many games to the end of the season to make the tournament possible. So I think 8 teams is where they're going to end up stopping, but they're definitely going to get there quick, fast, and in a hurry. Yeah.
Yeah. Also,
if you keep sorry, Philip. If you keep it less teams, it's more prestigious. You know what I'm saying? Like if every team gets in, then who cares?
Oh yeah.
Come on, man! You don't want to try and see what upsets potentially could happen?
Yeah, man. We'll just start the tournament at the first game of the season. Everyone's in.
I kind of wish that that they still had the BCS to an extent where it's like kind of like how they do in high school football. So it's like you get like these computer rankings throughout the regular season, and that kind of determines the seeding as far as the playoffs would go. But I always thought that there could have been a nice little combination there. But I like this format though. I think it's going to work. Obviously, I think it's worked, especially to our advantage. But but I'm excited going forward to see how it goes.
Philip, you got anything else? I think that's. do you follow NHL at all?
No, not really. I mean, the Capitals are big here, but I barely know anything other than Ovechkin.
Well, yeah. Mike is going to give you the Blue Jackets minute right here.
Okay, well, the Blue Jackets are out of the playoff race, so nobody cares. And that's hockey.
That's hockey. All right, that's all we got for today.
You want to talk baseball?
Oh yeah, let's talk about what's his name? What's Hooker's
Josh
name?
Hamilton.
Yes.
Josh Hamilton.
This is sexy. I like this.
So if you don't know who Josh Hamilton is, he was drafted by the Indians. He got into cocaine and hookers, and he was quickly outed there. Picked up by Cincy, where he got into more cocaine and hookers. Actually, you know what? He didn't get drafted by the Indians. That was Brandon Phillips. That went to the Dez. But,
okay.
But still, but yeah, cocaine and hookers though.
Cocaine and hookers.
Josh Hamilton equals cocaine and hookers. He was with the Reds. Reds got rid of him. Then the Rangers picked him up, and he got all sober. Took him to 2 World Series. They lost, and so he got a big contract with Anaheim, and had a really bad year. And then voila, cocaine and hookers again.
Well, how do you feel better when you're having a bad year?
I guess he's on the Tiger Woods regiment, but the opposite effect, because when Tiger was on the cocaine and hooker, well, I don't know if he was on cocaine.
No,
the hooker regiment though.
Yeah.
It equals championships. But, yeah. And then you got the return of A-Rod, who I don't know if he's cocaine, but he's definitely steroids and hookers. So, yeah. But, yeah. So that's baseball. But, Philip, you got anything about baseball?
Other than the cocaine and hookers?
Other than I think A-Rod's just going to do nothing but be a news story and not really help the team. That's about it.
No, I totally agree with you there. Yeah, I read on Twitter the other day that he was taking batting practice, and he had like 100 and something at bats in batting practice. Had 5 dingers, and that was it. Like out of 100 swings.
Well, maybe he hadn't done enough cocaine.
Or steroids.
Or
hookers.
I feel like hookers before practice is a bad idea.
Yeah, maybe.
But when you need to work out the kinks after practice.
You work out the kinks with the skanks.
Yeah, man.
But I think we're gonna break Philip.
That's awesome.
That's all I got. Mike, you all good?
I'm good. Philip, you got anything for us, brother?
No. I think we're good.
Awesome.
Right, well, thank you for watching/listening to Sports Nerds, the very first edition. Please like, comment, and share. Check out the 3 Geeks Network, or it was about soon to be the 3 Geeks Network, but right now you can check out the Geek News. We're upgrading. We're getting better. So, check us out. Like, comment, and share, and thank you for your time.